Welcome to the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We are located on the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. Today is Wednesday, January 24th, 2018, and your radio hosts today are
Marty Baldwin
and Robert Bean. We will be reading the news from the Wednesday Fayetteville Observer. Your weather for today will be partly sunny and cooler. The high will be 58, and tonight it will be mainly clear with a low of 32. Tomorrow will feature plenty of sunshine. The high will be 53, and the low will be 29. Friday it will be sunny to partly cloudy and pleasant. The high will be 58, the low 36. Saturday will be mild with times of clouds and sun. The high will be 67. The low 50. Sunday will be mild with periods of rain. The high will be 64 and the low 38. Monday there will be abundant sunshine. The high 54, the low 29. Tuesday there will be plenty of sun. The high will be 50, the low 26. And sunrise today was at 7:20 a.m. Sunset tonight at 5:36 p.m. Moonrise today will be at 12:23 p.m. Moonset will be at 12:58 a.m. and sunrise on Thursday will be at 7:19 a.m. The sunset tomorrow will be at 5:37 p.m. And the first moon is January 21st or 24th. The full moon January 31st. Last moon February 7th, and the new moon February 15th.
And here's applause. Lauren Wilson of Fayetteville was named to the Fall 2017 Dean's List at the Bob Jones University in Greenville, South Carolina. Celia Alzer of Carthage was named to the Fall 2017 Dean's List at Bob Jones University in Greenville, South Carolina. Today in history is Wednesday, January 24th, the 24th day of 2018, and there are 341 days left in the year. If you're going to do any sales, you better hurry. They're probably over and all the spring things are in the windows. Today's highlight, January 24, 1848, James M. Marshall discovered a gold nugget at Sutter's Mill in Northern California, a discovery that led to the gold rush of 49. In AD 41, Roman Emperor Caligula 28 was assassinated by the men. In 1942, the Roberts Commission placed much of the blame for America's lack of preparedness for Imperial Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor on Rear Admiral Husband E. Kimmel and General Walter C. Short, the Navy and Army commanders. Birthdays today? Well, this is interesting. I don't know who Jerry Maurin is, but he was in the film The Wizard of Oz, and he's 99. So Rhythm and blues singer Theo Peoples, a comedian Phil Lamar, 51. Mary Lou Retton, 50. Marilee McComas is 47. Beth Hart, 46. Ed Helms, 44. Actress Tatiana Ali, 39. Carrie Coon, 37. David Dix is 36. And need to know, coming right up, number 1, project support grants. Does your organization have an arts or cultural project in need of funding? The Arts Council of Fayetteville, Cumberland County is holding 3 workshops to help organizations submit application for a project support grant. They are Saturday at 10 a.m. and February 6, 5:30 p.m. Those workshops are open to all applicants. A workshop scheduled for February 8 at 5:30 p.m. is for returning applicants only. All workshops will be at the Arts Council, 301 Hay Street. Project grants may range from $1,000 to $30,000. The deadline to submit applications is March 15. All applications must be submitted through a new application portal. For more information, contact the Arts Council at 323-1776. Civil War Quiz Bowl. The Civil War Quiz Bowl is Thursday at 7 p.m. at the Museum of the Cape Fear, 801 Arsenal Avenue. Watch as contestants vie for prizes as they test their knowledge of trivia and history. For more information, call 486-1330. 3. Massey Hill Oyster Roast. The Massey Hill Lions Club 45th Annual Fundraiser for the Visually Impaired is Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 613 Camden Road. All you can eat, dine-in only. Advanced tickets are $35 and are available at Massey Hill Drugstore or from any Lions Club member. They are $40 at the door. More information, 483-8124. Girl Scout cookies. The annual cookie sales runs through March 3rd, and Girl Scouts will start their booth sales on Saturday. Help military men and women by donating to Operation Cookie Drop when you make a purchase. We want to hear from you. Submit your events at least 10 days in advance and call 486-3545 for questions. And, actually, that's the fax. But for questions, call 486-3500.
Live wire with Observer staff. Robinson train crash in 1943 remains state's deadliest. SM of Rayford writes, "There was a terrible train wreck near Rex when I was a child. It was a deadly disaster with many people killed, and it was very cold that night. It was probably in the 1940s. Could you look that up and give me some more information about it?" Nancy McCleary answers, "The wreck, December 16, 1943, was in Robinson County near Raft Swamp Creek and the community of Rennert, according to reports published in the Fayetteville Observer. Reports say the number killed was between 72 and 74, ranging in age from a 7-week-old girl to 67. Nearly 200 more were injured. Nearly 75 years later, it remains North Carolina's deadliest rail crash. 2 Atlantic coastline passenger trains were involved, both packed with holiday travelers and service members headed home. Shortly after midnight, the Tamiami West Coast champion left Fayetteville, headed south, and a little behind schedule. Less than 30 minutes later, near Raft Swamp Creek, a rail fractured beneath the train, derailing the rear 3 of the 18 cars it was pulling. The train was finally brought to a stop about a quarter-mile away from the derailed cars, throwing them onto the adjoining tracks. No one was seriously hurt from this derailment. The train crew and volunteers helped get passengers out of the cars and built bonfires in an effort to stay warm and to warn approaching trains. The train's firemen went ahead to place safety flares to warn other trains, but forgot noisemaker charges that he was to place on the tracks. The flares were damaged when the firemen slipped on ice that had formed. About 1:45 a.m., the Tamiami East Coast champion train, taking holiday travelers and military members north, saw the derailed cars too late and plowed into them. The northbound engines left the tracks at impact, plowing a gouge the length of 2 football fields into the ground. The first passenger car, filled with military personnel, stopped, but the other cars kept coming, slamming into. Contact Livewire by emailing livewire@fayobserver.com or by calling 486-3516.
Schumer takes back border wall offer. Washington top Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer on Tuesday pulled back, there are other words for pull back, an offer of $25 billion for President Donald Trump's long-promised southern border wall as lawmakers scrambled to figure out how to push a deal to protect 700,000 or more so-called dreamer immigrants from deportation. Schumer had made the offer last Friday in a last-ditch effort to head off the government shutdown. Then came scalding criticism from his party's liberal activist base that Democrats had given up too easily in reopening the government without more concrete promises on immigration. "We're going to have to start on a new basis and the wall's offer off the table," Schumer said. The shutdown battle, settled mostly on Trump's terms, complicated the already difficult search for an immigration pact. GOP hardliners appeared emboldened while Democrats absorbed withering criticism from progressives. Neither development seemed likely to push the combatants toward the compromises needed to produce a bill that can pass both the Tea Party-driven House and the more pragmatic Senate. Still, there were fresh signs of a willingness to keep hunting for a solution with the flurry of meetings on Capitol Hill and an assessment from White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders that "I don't think they're that far apart." Senator John Cronin of Texas said he'd been to 3 meetings Tuesday about immigration. "I know there's a lot of skepticism around here, and not much trust," he said, "but I do believe that there is a bona fide bipartisan concern about getting this done. Even if the Senate can come up with the votes to pass a plan, Democrats fear there is little chance such a bill would gain the support of House Republicans." There were no commitments made in the House as legislators worked to end the government shutdown. House GOP Whip Steve Scalise of Louisiana said Monday, warning against any amnesty measure. Trump weighed in Tuesday via Twitter. Nobody knows for sure that the Republicans and Democrats will be able to reach a deal on DACA by February 8, but everyone will be trying. With a big additional focus put on military strength and border security, the Dems have just learned that a shutdown is not the answer. Cronin, the number 2 Senate Republican, said Schumer had promised $25 billion figure for the wall and other border security measures, though not all of that would have been immediate funding. He considers withdrawal of the offer a step backward, said McConnell.
Expert infantry women. 6 at Fort Bragg earned coveted badge. Make Army history. Women quietly broke through barriers last fall when they became the first in the Army to earn the prestigious Expert Infantryman Badge at Fort Bragg. The badge, which was created in the 1940s, only recently opened to women when the Department of Defense struck down regulations that prevented them from serving in infantry jobs. The women earned the badge during testing with hundreds of male candidates in November, about 2 years after infantry jobs opened to women. This historic achievement is a reminder of the great things we can achieve when women are seen and treated as equals and given the same chance to contribute to their country, U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth said in the statement. The Democrat from Illinois was among the first Army women to fly combat missions during Operation Iraqi Freedom. In 2004, Duckworth was deployed to Iraq as a Black Hawk pilot for the Illinois Army National Guard when it was struck down by a rocket-propelled grenade. She lost her legs and partial use of her right arm. These 6 incredible women prove exactly why the Department of Defense was right to allow women to serve in all military roles, an action that was long overdue, she said. Remember, women have served attached to infantry units for decades without being formally assigned to the unit, so even when they meet the requirements, they technically could not earn the EIB until now. Through a spokesman for the 82nd Airborne Division, all 6 women who earned the badge declined to talk about their achievement or the significance of the badge. The division did not name the women. Division leaders declined interview requests for this story. To earn the Expert Infantryman Badge, a soldier must successfully complete 30 tasks that prove mastery infantry skills. If a soldier makes 3 errors, he or she fails and must wait 1 year to try again. At Fort Bragg, soldiers were tested on weapons proficiency and medical and patrol skills. Soldiers assembled the Carl Gustav recoilless rifle, Claymore mine, javelin, and AK-47 weapon systems. Among medical tasks, they performed first aid for a suspected fracture, open head wound, open abdominal wound, and burns. In the patrol lane, soldiers decontaminated themselves and equipment, identified terrain features on a map, and applied camouflage. The testing takes place over several days, during the day and at night. Of the 1,000 candidates who tested for the badge at Fort Bragg in November, 287 earned it. The candidates came from Fort Bragg, U.S. Army Special Operations Command, 18th Airborne Corps, and units at Fort Stewart, Georgia. Traditionally, only about 18% of all candidates who test for the badge earn it. Testing for the Expert Infantryman Badge is conducted at several installations each year. Standards for the test are set by the Infantry School at Fort Benning, Georgia. A soldier's skill. As women became eligible for infantry jobs, Command Sergeant Major Martin Celestine said there was never skepticism that women wouldn't be strong enough or trained well enough to test for the badge. No, there was no doubt, said Celestine, Command Sergeant Major of the Infantry School. I've deployed on multiple times and I've been side by side with women. When we talk about technical competency, it's not about man or woman. This is a soldier skill. We're all one team here. Colonel Townley Hedrick, Deputy Commandant for the school, said Commandant for the school said the Army's training has set women up for success, just like the men who have been training in those jobs for decades. He said he expected women to earn the badge. Women are going through infantry basic training, he said. They're going through operations. We expect them to go through it and earn it just like a man. Lieutenant General Stephen Townsend, who recently left command of the 18th Airborne Corps, said the Corps and overall Army readiness has been strengthened as women integrate into combat arms jobs. Army forces must possess the capabilities and be prepared to fight across multiple domains and through contested areas to deter potential adversaries and, should deterrence fail, rapidly defeat them, he said. As the Army shapes the future force, we will ensure that every individual has the opportunity to maximize his or her potential. The achievement has fueled the passion for Jakira Blue, a 17-year-old 2017 graduate of North Johnston High School, who had been planning to enlist in the Army as airborne infantry. She will head to Fort Benning for training in March. She knows she'll be in the minority in infantry training since the job's open to women. It doesn't matter, she said. It's going to make me push myself harder, she said. I want to show everybody I can do it.
The wrong way to plan. Oh, they must be talking about Fayetteville. That's what we've been afraid of for a while now. Instead of forging a big picture vision to guide growth spurred by the Fayetteville Outer Loop, our elected representatives are going to wing it one chunk at a time. Well, they've always done it that way. That's what happened Monday night when the City Council rezoned an 8.65-acre piece at the corner of Stony Point and Dundle Road from single-family residential to a limited commercial use. The move was controversial and opposed by neighbors, more than 200 of whom signed a petition opposing the zoning change. It was the 6th time since 1998 that the parcel's owner had sought a rezoning. The first 5 requests were turned down. Lawyer Jonathan Charleston said previous land use didn't account for the growth in the area and the future outer loop interchange that will soon come to the Jack Britt area. That's exactly the problem. There isn't a land use plan that realistic takes the future I-295 into account, as well as the explosive growth spurred by some of the county's top-achieving schools. Yes, the Jack Britt School District is probably the top-achieving, really good, wonderful school system out there. It could be that comprehensive new zoning and development plan for the area would have made the area rezoned, and it will be rezoned possibly Monday, commercial anyway. But at least it could have been part of a coherent plan. If it's going to be a piecemeal approach, don't be surprised. Oh, I thought that was the way it was done here. If the area becomes one more Fayetteville ugly duckling, not my words, but I couldn't agree more, another zoning hodgepodge that looks as if it was designed by throwing meatballs at a wall. Yes, nothing much has ever been done to beautify Fayetteville. It just gets worse and worse.
Local VA leads in opioids efforts. New data shows that amid the nation's ongoing opioid epidemic, the Fayetteville VA has become a leader in decreasing its prescription rate for the addictive medicine. The Department of Veterans Affairs released information on opioid prescriptions at 146 facilities across the nation earlier this month, becoming the first healthcare system in the country to post the information online. The data shows that nearly every VA facility, or 99%, has decreased their prescribing rates since 2012. Overall, the VA has seen a 41% drop in opioid prescribing rates in that time. The Fayetteville Veterans Affairs Medical Center, which services tens of thousands of veterans across a 21-county region in North and South Carolina, has reduced its prescribing rate by 65% since 2012, according to the VA. In that span, the rate dropped from 21% to 8%, which is the lowest among any VA medical center in North Carolina. Only a VA clinic in El Paso, Texas, saw a larger decrease in opioid prescription rates. The El Paso VA clinic reduced its rate by 66%. In the past, leaders at the Fayetteville VA said the improvement in the medical center's handling of opioid prescriptions is the result of years of efforts to combat addiction caused in part by what had been an over-reliance on the drugs to treat pain. After the latest data was released, the Fayetteville VA Medical Center's Chief of Staff, retired Colonel Gregory A. Antoine, said the VA was proud of its recognition as one of the VA's leaders in reducing opioid prescription rates. Ours is not an overnight success story, Antoine said. As a starting point, you might say VA, indeed the nation, has become smarter about opiate management. It's important to point out our goal is not to reduce opioids usage above everything else, he added. Our aim is to seek alternative methods to opioids in the treatment of pain and to ensure when opioids are prescribed, they are done so in a safe manner. National and local VA leaders said the reduced prescriptions are a result of strategies aimed at more appropriately and safely prescribing opioids. We made a concerted effort to foster a culture of patient and healthcare provider education, training, and awareness, Antoine said. We encourage the use of alternate therapies such as physical therapy, occupational therapy, chiropractor consults, acupuncture, Tai Chi, yoga, and mindfulness exercises, as well as utilization of pain specialists for more complex patients. Many veterans enrolled in the VA healthcare system suffer from high rates of chronic pain, and the prescribing of opioids may be necessary medically, VA Secretary David J. Shulkin said in a news release. And while VA offers other pain management options to reduce the need for opioids, it is important that we are transparent on how we prescribe opioids so veterans and the public can see what we are doing in our facilities and the progress we have made over time. The Fayetteville VA, along with the city and other community groups, has been at the forefront of the fight against opioid abuse for several years. In 2016, then Fayetteville VA Director Elizabeth Goolsby and then Mayor Nat Robertson helped from a local opioid task force, which has led to an opioid addiction hotline and a drug awareness campaign. The task force focuses on reducing the number of opioid overdoses, educating providers who prescribe opioids, building public awareness, and promoting treatment and recovery. And in November, the Observer reported that Fayetteville was one of 10 jurisdictions across the country participating in a new initiative that seeks to help stem the nation's opioid epidemic through interactive mapping, data sharing, and collaboration. The efforts are part of an attempt to stem a national epidemic with a strong local impact. A 2016 study found that Fayetteville had the 18th highest rate of prescription opioid abuse in the country. And according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, opioids, including prescription pain pills and heroin, killed more than 33,000 people across the country in 2015. But then the VA officials began cutting back painkiller prescriptions in 2010 in response to the growing number of veterans addicted to opioids. In 2012, the VA launched the Opioid Safety Initiative, focused on the safe use and slow and steady decrease in VA opioid dispensing. Antoine said local leaders still had work to do to ensure the safe and appropriate use of opioids and the use of alternative treatments to pain. No particular strategy or group has contributed to our success, but rather a combination of multiple strategies, practices, and contributors, ranging from our leadership team to healthcare providers and support people who are on the front line, to community partners, and the most important of all, our veterans and their families, he said.
Multitude of Instant Pot recipes available from your library. By Kelly Tamita. Last year I took a risk, maybe a calculated one, but if the Instant Pot lived up to its hype, it would be worth a try. This self-proclaimed time saver seemed too good to be true for this reluctant cook. Today I can confidently say that this combination pressure cooker, slow cooker, rice cooker, and yogurt maker is fulfilling my expectations. This cooking marvel continues to top the list for tens of thousands of internet purchasers, and as its popularity increases, so does the demand for recipes. That's where the public library can lend you a helping hand with multitudes of books filled with creative Instant Pot recipes. To get started, search our online catalog at Cumberland Library, North Carolina, and U.S., where you will discover what is available for checkout and to place a hold on your selections. You'll receive an automated notice when your items are ready for pickup. To give you an idea about what's in the collection, here are just a few of the titles. Ultimate Instant Pot Pressure Cooker Cookbook, 200 Easy Foolproof Recipes by Ella Sanders, an easy breezy guide with tips and tricks to cook each recipe to perfection, or Super Fast Instant Pot Pressure Cooker Cookbook, 100 Easy Recipes for Every Multi-Cooker by Heather Rodino and Sanders, Dinner in the Instant, 75 Modern Recipes for Your Pressure Cooker, Multi-Cooker, and Instant Pot by Melissa Clark is ideal for upping your cooking game without fuss. A New York Times food columnist, Clark brings her signature flavor-forward dishes and dinner brand to everyone's favorite countertop appliance, the Instant Pot. You also may be interested in Instant Pot Obsession, the ultimate electric pressure cooker cookbook for cooking everything fast. Keep in mind your library has thousands of cookbooks, including ebooks, that you can download with your library card. Titles range from How to Cook Everything Vegetarian to Man-Made Meals, the Essential Cookbook for Guides. And if you want to learn more about library programs and services, call 483-7727 or visit one of your local Cumberland County libraries.
Baseball panel wary of proposal. Fayetteville Baseball Committee members expressed concerns at a meeting Tuesday night that a proposed financial agreement with Cumberland County could cost city taxpayers $2.5 million. City staff said they planned on using money from a previous agreement with the county to help construct the baseball stadium. When you are continuously changing the terms of the agreement, it's just not a good partner, City Councilman Jim Arp said regarding the county. The baseball stadium where a Houston Astros minor league team will play is estimated to cost the city $33 million. Baseball stadium construction will be paid for through limited obligation bonds that the city has not applied for yet, city staff said. In the meantime, the city is using general funds for pre-construction and early construction costs. To date, $1.8 million of stadium costs have been incurred, city spokesman Kevin Arata wrote in an email Monday. General funds of the city are temporarily being used to cash flow these pre-construction and early construction costs with the intent for these funds to be reimbursed with proceeds of the bond sale. Charlie Lewis of project general contractor Barton Malo said the company is almost done creating a temporary fence around the project site. Lewis said that the concrete work on the project will begin in March and the steel work will begin in May. The general public will begin to really see the outline of the new stadium building in May when the steel beams go up. He said the stadium is on track to open in 2019 as planned. After receiving the update, the baseball committee discussed two proposed agreements with the county. On Friday, Cumberland County Board of Commissioners Chairman Larry Lancaster sent Fayetteville Mayor Mitch Colvin agreement drafts related to the funding of the baseball stadium and the Franklin Street parking garage that was finished in 2012. Hewitt said city staff had hoped to use money from that agreement, which was signed in 2007, to help fund a new baseball stadium. In 2016, county leaders verbally agreed to help the city pay more than $3 million toward the minor league baseball stadium. That amount is based off of estimated increases in property revenue that will be generated by $65 million in private investment surrounding the stadium. Hewitt said the agreement regarding the baseball stadium remained similar to a previous draft sent by the county to the city. However, he told the baseball committee that the county commissioners had changed the other interlocal agreement so that the city will lose $2.5 million, money it had hoped to use for the stadium. Hewitt said the city and county signed an agreement that said the county would help the city pay all of its debt service to the Franklin Street parking deck that was finished in 2012. The new agreement presented to the baseball committee by the county proposed that the county stop helping the city pay for the Franklin Street parking deck debt service in 2025. If the agreement is ended in 2025, the city, based on our projections, we will have to give up $2.5 million that we had anticipated getting from the county to pay for that parking deck that has already been constructed, Hewitt said. We had been anticipating the repayment of the parking deck. That money over there would help fund other projects in the city. Hewitt told the baseball committee that the two agreements will likely be brought up by the local government commission, which operates under the North Carolina Department of the State Treasurer, and must approve the limited obligation bonds. The city intends on sending the application for the bond in the state in March. We are going to be going to the LGC, Local Government Commission. They are going to be asking us, how are you going to pay for this, Hewitt said. City Councilman Larry Wright expressed concerns about the county's new proposal. They've changed too many times, Wright said. They're always adding something. He asked the city staff whether the city should consider financing the baseball stadium without the county's help. Is there any value in us doing a partnership with the county? Wright asked. Arp shared Wright's concerns about the county's changing agreements. I just grew up in a culture where when you say this is what you're going to do, that's what you're going to do, Arp said. City Councilman Bill Crisp said he felt the city should try again to negotiate with the county. I do think, Mr. Mayor, we need to try to go back with some kind of amended proposal to show good faith before we do what Councilman Wright said we may have to do, Crisp said. Lancaster expressed surprise that the baseball committee felt the proposed agreement had changed. I'm sorry to have heard that, Lancaster said. I think as chairman of the commissioners, I am personally trying to work as hard as I can to make sure any agreement with the city is fair. Lancaster said he and Colvin are working closely together to disprove the public's perception that the city and county cannot work together. They spoke late Tuesday night about the agreements and will have their staffs discuss the proposals early Wednesday. We want to be good stewards. We want to be good partners. I'm optimistic we can work all of this out, Lancaster said. I would like this to be a good collaborative effort on both sides.
We'll be paying for that forever. Poor taxpayers of Fayetteville. Here's Chemours reports 2 spills. Wilmington. On 2 occasions during the past month, Chemours has spilled wastewater it believed contained Gen X at its Fayetteville Works plant, according to letters from the company to environmental regulators. In each instance, Chemours program manager wrote in letters to the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality's DEQ Division of Water Resources, the amount spilled totaled to 10 thousandths of pounds. I do not know what that means. 10 thousandths of pounds. Chemours is making this report even though the incident did not result in the exceedance of any applicable reportable quantity, even though reporting is not required by any applicable permit or regulation. But if the interests of cooperation and transparency, given DEQ's ongoing focus on the handling of Gen X at Fayetteville Works, Christelle Compton, a Chemours program manager, wrote in both letters. The report spills happened December 31st and January 14 during the process of loading tank trailers with wastewater. According to Chemours' summary of the incidents, in the December 31 incident, about 5 gallons of processed wastewater spilled, while the January 14th incident resulted in the spill of about 10 gallons. DEQ officials did not respond Tuesday to questions about how many spills have been reported at Chemours' facility in the past, whether the December 31st and January 14th spills would be built into ongoing investigations or whether they would result in any enforcement action. Chemours also did not immediately respond to an email requesting comment on the spills. The chemical company originally agreed to cease the discharge of wastewater containing Gen X in June, announcing it would put wastewater containing the fluorochemical into trucks and ships and ship it away for incineration. Last fall, an unreported spill. As a non-profit agency, we rely on public donations. With your questions or comments, please call us.
Has been one of the most visible, respected, and influential Christians in the world since the 1950s, but he often had a blind spot when it came to politics. Graham was Richard Nixon's golfing buddy and spiritual advisor. He was there to pray with Nixon after every victory and loss, and Nixon consulted him on everything from his vice presidential pick to the conduct of the Vietnam War. It must have been a heady experience. Nixon showed his friendliness to me in many personal ways, Graham later recalled. He came to our home on the mountain. He often referred to the pineapple tea my mother served him when he visited her, and our games of golf together. He was always willing to coach me. He remembered birthdays. In Graham's view, Nixon was a modest and moral man with spiritual sensitivity. He held such noble standards of ethics and morality for the nation. Graham was in denial about Watergate until the last, when he finally read through the Watergate tape transcripts, including profanity, political corruption, lying, racism, and sexism. Graham remembers becoming physically ill. He said later of Nixon, "I wonder whether I might have exaggerated his spirituality in my own mind." Graham's biographer William Martin quotes a close Graham associate who is more blunt. "For the life of me, I honestly believe that after all these years, Billy still has no idea of how badly Nixon snookered him." We can now look back on such gullibility with nostalgia. Billy Graham had the alibi of self-deception, but Franklin Graham, Jerry Falwell Jr., Robert Jeffress, and Donald Trump's other evangelical advocates have no such excuse. They have made their political bargain with open eyes. Trump has made profanity an unavoidable part of our political culture. He is in the midst of a gathering corruption scandal that has left close aides under indictment. He tells repeated and obvious lies. incites ethnic and racial resentment as a political strategy, and was caught on tape bragging about sexual assault. Add this to something that could never be said of Nixon, a credible accusation that Trump paid hush money to a porn star to cover up an affair. And what is Franklin Graham's reaction? We certainly don't hold him up as the pastor of this nation, and he is not. But I appreciate the fact that the president does have a concern for Christian values. He does have a concern to protect Christians, whether it's here at home or around the world. And I appreciate the fact that he protects religious liberty and freedom, a concern for Christian values. I imagine there's considerable presidential stroking behind such a pronouncement, the current equivalent of remembering birthdays and pineapple tea. But Graham's argument is as cruelly political as it gets. Since Trump has delivered the goods on protecting Christians, evangelicals should give him the benefit of every doubt on moral matters, even when such doubts are absurdly transparent ploys. The level of cynicism here is startling. Some Christian leaders are surrendering the idea that character matters in public life in direct exchange for political benefits to Christians themselves. It is a political maneuver indistinguishable from those performed by business or union lobbyists every day, only seedier. You scratch my back, I'll wink at dehumanization and Stormy Daniels. The gag reflex is entirely gone. From a purely political perspective, the Trump evangelicals are out of their depth. When presented with the binary choice of Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, I can understand a certain amount of anguish. That is not a reason to become sycophants, cheerleaders, and enablers. Politics sometimes presents difficult choices, but that is not an excuse to be the most easily manipulated group in American politics. The problem, however, runs deeper. Trump's court evangelicals have become active participants in the moral deregulation of our political life. Never mind whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is of good repute. Some evangelicals are busy erasing bright lines and destroying moral landmarks. In the process, they are associating evangelicalism with bigotry, selfishness, and deception. They're playing a grubby political game for the highest of stakes, the reputation of their faith. Not long after Watergate broke, a chastened Billy Graham addressed a conference in Switzerland, warning that an evangelist should be careful not to identify the gospel with any one particular political program or culture, and adding, "This has been my own danger. The danger endures." Washington Post columnist Michael Gerson's email address is michaelgerson@washpost.com.
Okay, here's an opinion from the Observer editorials, as was the last reading, an opinion. Who's helping the rest of us? This looks like one of the worst kinds of legislative giveaway and give and take. Give state funding to a family business of a former state legislator who's a titan of the hog farming industry and a generous political donor, but then take it from state agencies that, among other things, are supposed to be watchdogs who regulate factory farming, especially the waste generated by those agricultural operations. Well, the way I see it, the way North Carolina deals with that, someday we won't have any water to drink, but they're lining their pockets with gold in the meantime. That's the story told by a News and Observer reporter this week, documenting the $830,000 earmark that solved a big problem for an upscale golfing community in Duplin County. The 1,600-acre River Landing community was developed by Wendell Murphy and his family. Murphy revolutionized the hog industry and made factory farm a way of life in parts of rural North Carolina. At one time, his company was the largest hog producer in the country. He also served in the General Assembly and helped push through the legislation favorable to creation and sustainability of the industry. Murphy is retired from the family business and lawmaking now, but he's been a generous political donor over the years. That includes donations to a current state representative from Duplin County, Republican Jimmy Dixon of Warsaw. Since 2011, according to N&O Story, Murphy, his family, and his employees have donated $42,750 to Dixon. So when Dixon heard the River Landing was having problems with the local sewer system, several sewage spills, and a limited capacity that could keep the Murphy family from expanding the hotel and its golf development, Nixon contacted local leaders to offer state assistance. No one from the town had contacted the lawmaker, and he said the Murphy family didn't seek his assistance either. But 3 weeks later, there was an $830,000 earmark, in the state budget that would fund sewer upgrades. We just live in a world where the politicians are so evil. Meantime, succession of state budget drawn up by the General Assembly's Republican majority have steadily eroded state regulators' power and staffing. The State Department of Environmental Management has nowhere enough inspectors to keep up with North Carolina's extensive network of factory hog and poultry farms. And regulator codes were written to make it easier for the farms to do business, not necessarily to protect the health and safety of the farm's neighbors. Despite the agency's requests for help in monitoring, measuring, and controlling Gen X pollution in the Cape Fear River Basin, lawmakers haven't appropriated a penny for additional DEQ staffing or equipment. The House did agree to more than $2 million in emergency funding for the agency, but the measure died on the doorstep of the state Senate. But there was no apparent problem finding $830,000 to help Murphy's family development expand. The earmarks sailed into law. We have no fundamental problem with earmarks. Local lawmakers should be able to recommend and push for funds for the local projects that they know will benefit their own communities. Road construction, school buildings, park acquisitions, museums, public facilities, even municipal sewer installations. There are a long list of projects that are an appropriate use of taxpayer funding, things that improve the quality of life in our community. But we're not all sure that such prompt, generous funding is appropriate in service to wealthy developers, especially when it doesn't quite pass the sniff test. Given the political donations involved, and it's especially unfortunate when the General Assembly loads more than $70 million in earmarks into the budget, but is refusing to help state agency combat a bona fide public health and safety emergency in and around the Cape Fear River, or anywhere else in the state, for that matter. That sends a pretty ugly message. Well, if you could find out how many hog farms and chicken farms and big agriculture are in this state, you would see what the state of North Carolina is becoming. But it used to be up in the Middle West where hog farming was so popular.
Parents urged to be vigilant. Panelists, human traffickers prey on vulnerable children. Detectives who investigate human trafficking cases have a straightforward message for parents. Keep up with what's going on in your children's lives. Many of the cases investigated in Fayetteville and Cumberland County involved local families, the law enforcement officers said Tuesday at a forum sponsored by the Child Advocacy Center and attended by more than 150 people. More than half the human trafficking cases filed in state court during the 2016 to 17 fiscal year occurred in Cumberland County, according to state court records. Aggressive enforcement and prosecution likely play a role in the number of cases, along with the opioid crisis and the area's proximity to Fort Bragg and Interstate 95, officials say. Detective Ronnie Hutchins of the Fayetteville Police Department's Human Trafficking Unit and Sergeant Adam Farnham of the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office said at the forum that parents should monitor their children's activity on social media sites. Hutchins said a website known for ads that involve human trafficking has posts targeting people from the city. Many local cases involve young people who have run away from home, he said. Talk to your child, Hutchins said. Know who they are hanging out with. Farnham said many cases involve drugs. The young person being trafficked often has a weakness that a predator is able to exploit, he said. Hutchins said pimps prey on vulnerable children. If they can lure that child from the home, they can take them anywhere, he said. The predators often move from city to city, making it difficult for investigators to keep up with them, Hutchins said. By the time we start the investigation, they're already moving, he said. Human trafficking survivor Anna Van Beveren talked generally at the forum about what happened to her. She didn't say where she was living at the time, but said detectives did not act like they believed her or were on her side when they interviewed her. That would have been nice, she said. Pete Twaddell is executive director of Five Sparrows, a local organization that helps human trafficking victims. He said his group works closely with local law enforcement officers who have learned how to handle those situations. Twaddell said his group offers hope to victims. He said trust has to be built over time. The one thing we have not figured out how to do is change a heart, he said. At some point, they realize we want what is best for them. Pam Strickland, founder and director of Eastern North Carolina Stop Human Trafficking Now, said victims react in different ways. These people have been through an incredible trauma, she said. Dean Duncan, a research professor at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, talked about Project No Rest, or TDIREX. The program, which is intended to increase awareness and prevention of human trafficking, is working with Cumberland County officials.
Cheers and jeers. Cheers to Sandra Davis, the Healing Hearts Knitting Ministry of Clinton from the Cape Fear Valley Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. We appreciate your gift and donations of several hand-knitted blankets that served well for our little angels in NICU. Your act of kindness not only made an impact on the lives of our little babies, but for the parents and staff as well. Thank you for being a servant and serving NICU, not only at this time, but your donations in the past too. Hats off to Healing Hearts Knitting in Ministry. You are doing a great job as an outreach ministry. From Evelyn Landry, CFB, NICU. If you wish to have cheers or jeers, print your cheers or jeers, call 486-3590. Include your name, hometown, phone number. Limit your item to 125 words.
Sure to miss the stories only she could tell by Bill Kirby Jr. A newspaper journeyman's line gauge for measuring story length is there by her desk, along with a bouquet of pinwheels from the Child Advocacy Center peering over her now vacant computer terminal. The red light is blinking on their telephone voicemail, where you can imagine someone likely has a story they hope Kim Hasty might tell, and like only Kim Hasty could. And so today I began a new position at the Fayetteville Observer Times after 11 years as a sports writer. She wrote on November 2nd, 1992, as she embarked on her role as a Metro columnist. I'm looking forward to writing about people and the lives they lead, their joys and sorrows and struggles. Maybe I'll be lucky enough to meet a few of those people who've shown unusual courage or strength in life, everyday heroes. She found them and with compassion told their stories. The Special Olympian who finished last but won every well-wisher's heart at the finish line. Purple stars for a 7-year-old girl with an inoperable brain tumor. Pumpkin milkshakes at Halloween. A ladies' gluten-free Thanksgiving dinner. The sisterhood of Carol Quigg and those friends who were there in the best and worst of times. Joe Warren's service station in Salemburg, where old Joe would fill your tank, check your oil, and wash your windshield too. An American flag draped over the coffin of an airman now home after being missing in combat for nearly 50 years. Ham Morrissey's pink propane delivery truck down Clinton Way, because breast cancer doesn't discriminate, no matter your age or the color of your skin. Kim Adams graduated from Reed Ross High School, headed to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and found her way here along Whitfield Street on October 7, 1982, with a gift for bringing stories to life from the football stadiums, basketball arenas, tennis courts, and golfing fairways. And later, those stories from a nervous bride's wedding day to a breast cancer survivor's resolve to be a beacon of hope for others, or the majesty of Greece. Hers, as a mother of 5, was a journalism career interrupted, but only for a while, to raise the children she adored and who adored their mother back. Ever since the nurses brought her as a newborn to me in the fuzzy early morning, I have loved being a mother, she would write of her firstborn. Motherhood changes you. You learn that the most satisfying interior decorating has less to do with swags and crown molding than with refrigerator art and finger paint. She taught us about cereal and granules of sugar scattered on the morning breakfast table, dirty diapers, the joy of motherhood, and the pain of losing a child. Our second daughter, Allison, was born, launching us on a journey so unlike the birth of our first. She wrote in a November 2nd, 1992 column, "My husband and I became all too familiar with the medicine-smelling iodine soap in the neonatal intensive care unit at Duke. I learned some things since her birth that I'd always suspected, that her dad is the sort who will groggily get up in the middle of the night when he's the one who first hears her cry. Many a morning I've come downstairs to see the two of them asleep in the living room recliner, a little head tucked in his arm. Allison Kimberly Hasty died June 5th, 1995. She was 2. Maybe I'll be lucky enough to meet a few of those people who've shown unusual courage or strength in life," Kim Hasty told us long years ago. Everyday heroes, like Allison, and like so many of her stories about so many of you, the red light is blinking. me oh my, the stories only she could tell here along Whitfield Street, where Kim Hasty forever will be a part of us. Bill Kirby Jr. can be reached at bkirby@fayobserver.com or by calling 486-3571.
What is she going to do? Retire or something?
I'm not sure.
What was that about anyway? Okay, if you want to leave for a little while, I'm going to start reading the articles I have taken from the newspaper today that are concerned with crime. And so if you just love to leave the room for 10 minutes, this is probably a good chance. Cumberland County arrests. Hassel Graham II, Jr., 53, of the 900 block of Wendover Drive was charged Tuesday with obtaining property by false pretense and misdemeanor failure to return rental property. Bail was set at $2,500. Kaziya Michael Peterkin, 19, of the 4500 block of Parkwood Drive was charged Tuesday with possession of more than 5 counterfeit bills, uttering a forged instrument, and conspiracy. Bail was set at $25,000. Cindy Lee Haycock, 35, of 600 block of Woodburn Drive was charged Thursday with possessing a controlled substance on the jail premises. Bail was set at $3,000. Michael Anthony Patton, 30, of 5200 block of Cypress Road, was charged Tuesday with breaking and entering, larceny, and possessing stolen property. Bail was set at $5,000. Antarios Jaquan Flythe, 23, of the 2200 block of Cattail Circle was charged Tuesday with possessing stolen property and possession of firearm by a felon. Bail was set at $15,000. Here is in brief. Rayford, ex-fire official accused of embezzlement. A former assistant chief is accused of stealing money from the Pine Hill Fire Department in Hope County, authorities said. Christopher Martin Duffel, 32, of the 200 block of Falling Leaf Drive, is charged with 30 counts of embezzlement, 4 counts of obtaining property by false pretense, and 2 counts of insurance fraud. The alleged offenses occurred from October 2016 to November 2017 and involved money from different department accounts. According to a release from the Hope County Sheriff, office, it did not say how much money was taken. The Sheriff's Office learned of the theft on December 1st and is being assisted in the investigation by the Hope County District Attorney's Office and the North Carolina Department of Insurance. Duffel served as Assistant Chief of the Department at 2685 Ashmont Road near the Hope Moore County line between 2000 and 2017, according to his LinkedIn web page. Bail was set at $150,000. Foresought in bank robbery, Lumberton. Lawmen were still searching Tuesday night for 4 people accused of robbing a bank in Lumberton and firing shots at police as they drove away. The robbery happened at 3:30 p.m. The search was still underway at 10 p.m. Tuesday. 2 men and 2 women were in a vehicle that headed out on North Carolina 211. One person is believed to have jumped out of the vehicle in the area of Old Allenton and Old Whiteville Roads, the sources said. The vehicle continued traveling into Columbus County toward the communities of Boardman and Evergreen. The other people, 3, are believed to have jumped out of the vehicle along the way. Lawmen set up perimeters in the area, and the North Carolina Highway Patrol helicopter was brought in to assist with the search. Shots were fired at lawmen after the vehicle left Lumberton, sources said. No other information was immediately available. In brief, Clinton. Sampson man dies after fire at home. A Newton Grove man died Tuesday after a fire at his home, the Sampson County Sheriff's Office said. The fire at 3172 Harnett Highway was reported at 2:45 a.m. The firefighters discovered the body of Jimmy Lee, 52, inside the home while putting out the fire. The cause of the fire has not been determined. The Sheriff's Office of the Sampson County Fire Marshal's Office and State Bureau of Investigation are investigating. Lee's body was sent to the office of the Chief Medical Examiner in Raleigh for an autopsy to determine the cause of death. Fire departments responding to the call included Newton Grove, Spivey's Corner, Plainview, Van Crossroads, and Meadow. Public invited to make vets Valentines. The public is invited to make Valentine cards for veterans this weekend at Cross Creek Mall. The Red Cross Youth Group will be in the food court from 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. Saturday for the public to stop in and make the cards. The cards will be distributed to local veterans. 3 charged in Lumberton murder case. 3 Lumberton residents were indicted last week in Robeson County Superior Court in the 2016 murder of a man at a home in Proctorville. They are Christopher Michael Chavis, 41, of 100 block of Doe Run Trail, Carol Butler Locklear, 51, of the 100 block of Elvis Street, and Michael Doc Elvis Jr., 32, of the 800 block of Pittman Road, according to the sheriff's news release. Each is charged with being an accessory after the fact of first-degree murder. Bail for each was set at $100,000. In May 2016, Gary Wayne Busby, 23, was found shot to death in a bed at the home of Zona Shanae Locklear, who lived on North Sterling Street in Proctorville. Zona Locklear and Comanche Brooks Locklear, 29, who also lives on Doe Run Trail, are charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy in Bisbee's death. Comanche Locklear also is charged with robbery with a dangerous weapon. The release did not say how Chavis, Elvis, and Carol Locklear were alleged to be involved in Bisbee's death, nor did it indicate the relationship between Zona, Comanche, and Carol Locklear. Lawmen are looking for Elvis Locklear, the release said. Anyone with information is asked to call the sheriff's office at 671-3100. 2 men guilty in drug ring charges, local men. Elizabeth City. 2 Lebanon County men accused of operating a cocaine and crack distribution ring for more than 4 years were found guilty Saturday in federal court on related charges. Lamont Jerome Webb, 43, and Larry Miles Sr., 61, both of Godwin, were convicted after a 4-day jury trial in U.S. District Court in Elizabeth City, according to a release from the U.S. Attorney's Office from the Eastern District of North Carolina. Webb was found guilty of drug conspiracy, money laundering, conspiracy possession with intent to distribute crack cocaine, and multiple money laundering offenses. Miles was found guilty of multiple money laundering offenses. Evidence showed that Webb operated a drug house in Godwin and used proceeds from the operation to buy land in Godwin and Dunn. He is accused of buying the property and putting it in the name of others in an effort to conceal the transactions from law enforcement, the release said. The 2 were among 19 people in Cumberland and Harnett counties indicted in June 2015 for their alleged involvement in the operation that netted more than $900,000 between 2010 and 2015. Most of the proceeds were spent on vehicles, including 2 record trucks, houses, 4 tracts of land in Godwin and 2 in Dunn. Court documents said no sentencing date was given. Well, that's a profitable business there. Multiple charges filed in assault. Hope Mills man is accused of terrorizing a woman and trying to kill her, according to arrest warrants in the Cumberland County's Magistrate's Office. Mark Stephen Borst, 25, 800 block of McKay Court, was charged Tuesday with attempted first-degree murder, first-degree kidnapping, second-degree forcible rape, attempted second-degree forcible sex offense, and assault by strangulation. Borst is also charged with misdemeanor offenses including assault with a deadly weapon, injury to personal property, sexual battery, and 4 counts of violating a domestic violence protective order. The incident happened January 2021, warrants said. He is accused of holding a knife to the victim's throat, wrapping his arm around her neck and applying pressure until she lost consciousness, the warrant said. Bail will be set this morning in district court. Gen X informational meeting scheduled. State officials plan to hold another informational session about a potentially carcinogenic compound in Bladen County next week. The Departments of Environmental Quality and Health and Human Services will host the meeting February 1st to provide updates and answer questions about Gen X. The chemical, which is made at the Comores plant off of North Carolina 87 near the Cumberland County line, has been linked by research to several forms of cancer in animals. Well, of course, it isn't known if the effect is the same in humans. Gen X, the man-made and unregulated compound, is used to and chemical, is used to manufacture non-stick coatings on cookware and other products. State officials have been investigating Gen X since June, when Wilmington Star News broke the story that researchers had discovered the compound in the Cape Fear River. The previous year, Chemours has agreed to stop dumping Gen X into the river, but the chemical has since been found in more than 250 private wells around the plant, including more than 120 at levels above the state's provisional health goal. 2 rounds of testing from private wells around the plant have been completed. Tests were initially done on wells that are within about a mile of the facility, and all showed elevated levels of Gen X. State officials expanded the area to a mile of the boundary at plant's 2,200-acre property. A 3rd round of testing has begun. State officials have said they will continue tests until they find the edge of the contamination. The meeting is scheduled for 6 p.m. in Bladen Community College Auditorium, which is at 7418 North Carolina, 41 West in Dublin. Actually, I think that, although that got into my pile of crime, I think it was definitely in the right pile. And this has been the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. When making charitable donations, please keep SENCRRS in mind. Our post office box number is 35029 Fayetteville, North Carolina, 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call us at 910-672-1600 or our toll-free number, 1-844-709-5656. And your radio hosts today are Marty Baldwin and
Robert Bean.
And we're proud to serve you today.
And it is the top of the hour, time for the obituaries, death notices. The following deaths have been reported. Upcoming editions of the Fayetteville Observer will contain complete obituary information. In Cumberland County, Henry Thomas Wagner, Jr., 77 of Fayetteville, formerly of Durham, Jernigan Warren Funeral Home. Frankie McNeil, 62 of Fayetteville, Herring Funeral Care and Cremations. Claudia S. Ellison, 73 of Fayetteville, Reeves Funeral Home, Hope Mills. Edwin L. Patrick, 81 of Fayetteville, Jernigan Warren Funeral Home. Krista R. Whitney, 69 of Spring Lake, Adcock Funeral Home and Crematory. Robert M. Morgan, retired Army, 79 of Spring Lake, Adcock Funeral Home and Crematory. Helen Bryant, 69 of Sanford, Walker Memorial Funeral Home. Willie Mae Stevens, 90 of Fayetteville, Wiseman Mortuary. In the Cape Fear region, Sarah Elizabeth Thompson Tobias, 70 of Huntington Station, New York, formerly of Fairmont, Hills Funeral Home. Keon and Xavier Smith, newborns of Rayford, Herring Funeral Care and Cremations. Barry Joe Guyton, 64 of Cameron, Dafford Funeral Home, Dunn. Kenneth Lee Smith, 60 of Elizabethtown, Carter Funeral Home. In Cumberland County, Mrs. Viola Gertrude Thomas Offer, age 77 of Fayetteville, departed this life Thursday, January 18, 2018. Funeral service will be held on Friday, January 26th at 11 a.m. in Mount Sinai Missionary Baptist Church. Burial will follow in Rockfish Memorial Park. Viewing will be held on Friday, January 26th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the church. The family will receive friends at the home. William Howard Korn Sr., 83 of Courtyard Lane in Fayetteville, North Carolina, died Sunday, January 21st, 2018 at home. He was a U.S. Army veteran. Funeral services will be held Friday, January 26, 2018 from 11:45 a.m. to 12:45 p.m. The visitation will be at 1 p.m. The memorial at Sullivan's Highland Service and Crematory Incorporated on 610 Ramsey Street, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Survivors are his wife of 60 years, and online condolences may be expressed at www.sullivanshighland.com. Services are entrusted to Sullivan's Highland Funeral Service and Crematory Incorporated of Fayetteville, North Carolina. U.S. Army Sergeant Jack Edward Stillman, 23, of Fayetteville, died Saturday, January 20th, 2018. A memorial will be held this Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Epicenter Church, and a viewing will be at Sullivan's Highland Funeral Service Friday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. The burial will be at Arlington National Cemetery in Arlington, Virginia. Sullivan's Highland Funeral Service and Crematory of Fayetteville provide the services. Charles L. Blake, 72, of Fayetteville, died Monday, January 15, 2018. The viewing will be at Wiseman Mortuary Chapel Wednesday from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. The burial will be at Beulah Veterans Cemetery in Cambridge, Maryland. Services are entrusted to Wiseman Mortuary. Virginia Forsyth Autry, 76, of Fayetteville, died Monday, January 22, 2018. Funeral will be held Sunday at 3 p.m. at Magnolia Baptist Church in Stedman. Visitation will be at Sullivan's Highland Funeral Service Saturday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The burial will be at Magnolia Baptist Church Cemetery. Services are entrusted to Sullivan's Highland Funeral Service and Crematory of Fayetteville. Kelly Mae Smith Simmons, 78, of Aberdeen, died Thursday, January 18, 2018. The funeral will be held Friday at 3 p.m. at Page Memorial Church in Aberdeen. Viewing will be at Jones and Little Funeral Home in Aberdeen Thursday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. The burial will be at Wayne Cemetery of Adder. Jones and Little of Aberdeen provided the services. Phyllis Kennedy Vaughn, 73, of Aberdeen, died Friday, January 19, 2018. Visitation will be at Boyle's Funeral Home on 425 West Pennsylvania Avenue in Southern Pines, Sunday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Tanya Lynn Britt Howell, 45, of Lumberton, died Monday, January 22, 2018. Funeral will be held Friday at 3 p.m. at 10 Mile Baptist Church. Visitation will be prior to the service at the church Friday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., and the burial will be at 10 Mile Baptist Church Cemetery. Services entrusted to Floyd Mortuary and Crematory. Sherry Lynn Lee, 49, of Lumberton, died Monday, January 22, 2018. The funeral will be held Thursday at 1 p.m. at Boyle's St. Paul's Funeral Home. Visitation will be at Boyle's St. Paul's Funeral Home Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Services are entrusted to Boyle's St. Paul's. Lawana Denise Johnson, 65, of Lumberton, died Thursday, January 18, 2018. The funeral will be held Saturday at 1 p.m. at First Baptist Church, and the visitation will be at Colvin Funeral Home Friday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. The burial will be at Floyd's Memorial Garden, and services are entrusted to Colvin Funeral Home. Huey Franklin Bridges, 73, of Fayetteville, died Friday, January 19, 2018. A celebration of life will be held at a later date. Services are entrusted to Fayetteville Cremation Services. Maurice Winfred Lewis, 83, of Lumberton, died Sunday, January 21, 2018. The funeral will be held Thursday at 3 p.m. at Rath Swamp Baptist Church in Lumberton. Visitation will be at Floyd Mortuary and Crematory Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And Cody Jacob Lindsay, 23, of Lumberton, died Sunday, January 21, 2018. The funeral will be held Friday at 2 p.m. at Floyd Memorial Chapel, and the visitation will be at Floyd Mortuary and Crematory of Lumberton Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Services entrusted to Floyd Mortuary and Crematory.
The region and elsewhere, Mebane. Joshua Crozier, 25, of Mebane, died Saturday, January 13. Memorial Wednesday, 3 p.m. Walker Memorial Funeral Home, 163 Irene Roberts Road, Lillington. Walker Memorial Funeral Home. Doris J. Milo of Sabetha, Kansas, 90, formerly of Fayetteville, North Carolina, died Sunday, January 21st at the Sabetha Community Hospital. A graveside service will be held at a later date in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Harvey Williams Jr. of Roseboro, 96, died Sunday, January 21, 2018. Funeral Thursday, 2 p.m. Elizabeth Missionary Baptist Church. Visitation, Elizabeth Missionary Baptist Church, Wednesday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Burial, Elizabeth Missionary Baptist Church Cemetery, Crumpler Honeycutt Funeral Home. Vernon Thornton of Rayford, 79, died Monday, January 22, 2018. Funeral Thursday, 1 p.m. Bowie Funeral Home, chapel viewing. At Bowie Funeral Home Chapel. Viewing is at Bowie Funeral Home Chapel, Wednesday, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Burial, Sandhill State Veterans Cemetery, Bowie Funeral Home. Mary Pipkin McLean, Dunn, 94, 106 Hodges Avenue, Dunn, died Sunday, January 21, 2018. Funeral Friday, 1 p.m. Dafford Funeral Home Chapel, Dunn. Viewing, Dafford Funeral Home Chapel, Dunn. Thursday, 1 p.m., 7 p.m. Burial, Riverside Community Cemetery, Irwin, Dafford Funeral Home, Dunn. And it is my pleasure to read to you the Billy Graham column. Put your faith in Christ to find hope in the future. Question: do you think 2018 is going to be any better for the world than 2017 was? I remember all the rosy predictions that people made at the start of 2017, and almost none of them came true. Will the world ever get any better? From K.M. Answer: only God knows the future, of course. We can only guess at it. And a year from now, I'm sure many of the predictions people made at the beginning of 2018 will turn out to be false. This, incidentally, includes the so-called prophecies made by alleged fortune-tellers and psychics who claim to know the future but don't. Will the world ever get any better? In some ways, it certainly may. I'm grateful, for example, for advances that continue to be made in the medical and scientific research. We should be grateful also for every measure of peace, and we should be praying for our world leaders. We live in dangerous times, and they need our prayers and encouragement. But the Bible tells us two important truths about the world in which we live. First, it tells us that we will never solve all our problems completely. In fact, they may only get worse. The reason is that our real problem is within us, within our own hearts and minds. The Bible warns that in the later days, or the latter days, evildoers and impostors will go from bad to worse, deceiving and being deceived. However, the Bible also gives us hope for the present and hope for the future. When we humble ourselves before Christ and seek His forgiveness and help, He comes to live within us and begins to change us. We also know that someday Christ will intervene and all evil and corruption will be eliminated. Is your faith and hope in Him? Readers can write to the Reverend Billy Graham at the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, 1 Billy Graham Parkway, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28200. Or you can call Billy Graham at 877-2-GRAHAM. And the website for the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association is at billygraham.org.
Dear Abby with Gene Phillips. Online guide helps parents recognize child depression. Dear Abby, seeing a child you love struggle with depression is such a helpless feeling. Parents wonder how to talk to them as they withdraw from the people and activities that used to bring them joy. We just want them to feel better again. Many times parents tell themselves it's just a phase their child will grow out of, but 1 in 5 teens is affected by depression. It's important for parents to know that children even younger can become depressed and that girls are twice as likely as boys to experience it. Depressed kids are more likely to abuse alcohol and other drugs and are at greater risk for attempting suicide. To help concerned parents reach out to their hurting children, USA.gov has created the free online Only Kids and Depression Guide at www.usa.gov/features/kids-and depression. The guide's sound, compassionate advice helps parents, grandparents, and teachers recognize symptoms and risk factors in young people. It explains treatment options, including counseling and medication. And it also includes age-appropriate information about depression that parents can share with their children, elementary age through college. Abby, thank you for the love you show your readers and for sharing this potentially life-saving guide with them. Nancy Tyler, Senior Editor, USA.gov. Dear Nancy, you're welcome. I'm glad you wrote because I received many letters from worried parents and depressed young people. I know the online guide will provide important information they will find useful. Risk factors for depression in young people include stressful life events, such as a family member's divorce or death, bullying, trouble with school or friends, low self-esteem, or a disability or chronic illness. Symptoms of depression that last 2 weeks or more are significant. They may include sensitivity to criticism, an outburst of anger, sadness, headaches or stomach aches, changes in sleep or eating habits, lower grades, and withdrawal from people and activities. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, in 2015, 3 million kids aged 12 to 17 experienced a major depressive episode in the past year. Because, as you stated, depression can be a significant factor in suicide attempts, the guide provides information to help parents recognize the warning signs of suicidal thoughts in their children. If you think your child might be suicidal, contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline by calling 1-800-273-8255. It offers confidential help 24 hours a day. Dear Abby, should each spouse give an anniversary gift to the other, or is it solely up to the man to arrange for the special occasion and gift giving? Soon to celebrate in Illinois. Dear Soon, an anniversary is not a surprise party. When the special occasion arises, celebrating shouldn't be the responsibility of just one spouse. The arrangements can be made by whomever is better at doing it, but gift giving should be a two-way street. Readers can write to Dear Abby at dearabby.com or P.O. Box 69440, Los Angeles, California 90069.
And we'll have our fun horoscope, but I hope you don't believe in it. But it's fun. Born Today by Stella Wilder. Born today, you crave success and you enjoy what success can bring you, personally, financially, and spiritually. You work hard and keep things in balance, for you know no matter how hard you try to maintain control over all aspects of your life, things can go awry. If even one of those aspects is allowed to get the better of you, even for a moment. Here's Aquarius. You may have to work harder today to achieve only a routine result, but this is because of natural forces that you cannot avoid. Gee, I would take that one. Pisces, your attempt to show off today is likely to backfire on you. You must be operating from a set of motives that are purer than that. Aries, what lies ahead may give you pause, but by day's end you should be able to embrace a new situation with confidence. Taurus, you're going to have to fit in a few last-minute tasks today before getting on with the major activity of the day. Gemini, you can break free of any restraints today and enjoy a fuller exploration of the options facing you right now. A decision need not be made. Cancer, it's best for you to ignore certain developments today until you consider them from an entirely different point of view. Leo, you are headed to a place that can provide you with many new opportunities, but are you ready to leave other things behind yet? Virgo, you may feel encumbered, put upon, or simply out of sorts during the first part of the day. Later, you'll be running on all cylinders. Libra, working solo today, you will accomplish something very special to you when all is said and done, even though others may not appreciate what it means. Scorpio, someone from your past is looking over your shoulder today to make sure you don't repeat any errors you made in days of long ago. Sagittarius, you may require some special attention today in order to shake the blues. Once a certain friend ministers to you, all will be well. Capricorn, try something new today, but be prepared to fall short of the mark. A second attempt promises more and can lead to success.
Israel-Syria border, a preview of next conflict by Trudy Rubin. Last month I drove along an endless barbed wire fence on the Golan Heights that defines the Israeli-Syrian border with a dim sound of artillery booming in the distance. A detour to a rocky hilltop allowed me to look out under dark clouds at a Syrian landscape that reflects the new world disorder we face in 2018. The operative words are complexity and uncertainty, as the Trump team struggles to define a consistent strategy for the Mid-East and elsewhere. The new U.S. defense strategy unveiled Friday focuses on great power competition with Russia and China rather than terrorism, while mentioning Iran and, of course, North Korea. On the other side of the Golan fence on Syrian soil, many of those interests are in play. Some combination of Russia, the United States, Iran, Israel, and jihadi remnants could wind up in a collision. The spectacularly beautiful Golan Heights region, which directly overlooks northern Israel, was captured from Syria during the 1967 war and annexed in 1981, though not internationally recognized. For many years, the Golan border was Israel's most peaceful. Then the chaos of civil war erupted, and the border became home to a string of local Sunni opposition militias, Syrian government forces, and a pocket of ISIS at the southern end. Almost by accident, Israel began a good neighbor policy of providing health care for wounded Syrians from the other side of the fence. 7 Syrians come to the border in March 2013 and asked to be let in, I was told by Dr. Noam Fink, the chief medical officer of the Israel Defense Forces Northern Command. Word spread. Israeli medical teams started coming to the border. The more seriously injured were evacuated to hospitals in northern Israel. The Syrian civil war virtually destroyed medical care in Syrian conflict zones. So Israel also permitted the Louisiana-based U.S. Christian charity Friendships to open a clinic last summer right at the border that serves families who cross over daily for chronic or emergency illnesses. It is amazing to look across the fence and see a hut in no man's land where Syrian civilians are checked, then allowed to walk down a path and through a gate into Israel. Volunteer manager Sheree Morrison, a 66-year-old grandmother of 14 from New York, says 2,500 patients have crossed along with a Syrian doctor who commutes daily. Volunteer U.S. doctors and dentists come for short visits. Children are given toys and parents get food packages. Piles of stuffed animals and a swing set fill one of the white tents that make up the clinic. Meantime, 4,000 Syrians have crossed the fence via the Israel Defense Forces Operation Good Neighbor, including many women and children. Israel has also transferred tons of food, medicines, and clothing across to Syria. We see the gratitude will continue as long as it is needed, Fink told me. However, a large proportion of the injured are young Syrians wounded in fighting. Israeli officials deny Western news reports that they have funded or armed local Sunni militias. But former Defense Minister Moshe Ya'alon made clear in 2015 that medical aid to Sunni rebels was extended on condition that they prevent Islamist fighters from nearing the border. Now Israel's border situation has become even more complex. There has been an upsurge of casualties at the fence in recent weeks as the Syrian regime retakes border towns held by Sunni rebels, including Beit Jan, across from the northern end of the Golan and near Lebanon. This raises a critical issue for Israel, whether Lebanon's Hezbollah or other Shiite proxies of Iran will set up bases near the border. Here's where we see the complexity of the New World disorder in full flower. Russia and the United States are jockeying for influence in post-ISIS Syria, with Russia far ahead. The Trump team, along with Israel, wants Russia to prevent Iran from setting up permanent bases in Syria that could threaten Israel. One test was whether a deconfliction accord between Washington and Moscow would prevent Iran's Shiite proxies from basing along the Golan border. That accord has not worked. Israelis are annoyed and disappointed with Washington's deal. They have told the Russians, with whom they are on good terms, that they won't let Hezbollah build an infrastructure nearby. Meantime, Israel has been bombing Iranian bases farther inland, presumably with Russian knowledge. So across the barbed wire fence simmers a rich geopolitical stew that may be served cold or hot. Will Russia control its Iranian ally? Will Iran control Hezbollah? If not, will there be a war between Israel and Iran, or between America and Turkey on Syria's northern border? And finally, does the Trump team have the heft to affect the outcome? Or is America a spent force? Watch what happens along that goal-line fence for clues to all of the above. Trudy Rubin is a columnist and editorial board member for the Philadelphia Inquirer. Readers may write to her at Philadelphia Inquirer, P.O. Box 8263, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 19101, or by email at trubin@phillynews.com.
There was bullets flying everywhere. Here's a quote. 2 dead, 17 injured in Kentucky school. Shooting suspect held. Benton, Kentucky. A 15-year-old student killed 2 classmates and hit a dozen others with gunfire Tuesday, methodically firing a handgun inside a crowded atrium at his rural Kentucky high school. He was determined. He knew what he was doing, said Alexandria Caporale, who grabbed her stunned friend and ran into a classroom and her classmates hit the floor. It was one right after another. Bang, 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 she added. You could see his arm jerking as he was pulling the trigger. Police led a teenager away in handcuffs a minute later and said the suspect will be charged with murder. Authorities did not identify the gunman responsible for the nation's first fatal school shooting of 2018, nor did they release any details about a motive. Kentucky State Police Lieutenant Michael Webb said detectives are looking into his home and background. He was apprehended by the sheriff's department there on the site at the school, thankfully before any more lives could be taken. 17 students were injured, 12 of them hit with bullets and 5 others hurt in a scramble as hundreds of students fled for their lives from Marshall County High School. Many jumped into cars or ran down the highway, some not stopping until they reached a McDonald's restaurant more than a mile away. Parents left their cars on both sides of an adjacent road, desperately trying to find their teenagers. No one screamed. It was almost entirely silent as people ran, said Caporale, 16. He just ran out of ammo and couldn't do anything else. He took off running and tried to get away from the officers. The 2 fatalities were 15 years old. A girl died at the scene and a boy died later at a hospital. Governor Matt Bevin said that all of the victims are believed to be students. 5 young men, including 3 with shotgun wounds, 2 head, 1 to chest, were flown about 120 miles to Nashville's Vanderbilt University Medical Center. The attack followed the year's most fatal school shooting, 23 days into 2018, according to data compiled by the Gun Violence Archive, which relies on media reports and other information. The anti-violence group Everytown for Gun Safety has counted at least 283 shootings at schools since 2013. The governor, as well as several people in Benton, said they couldn't believe a mass shooting would happen in their small, close-knit town, but many such shootings across the nation have happened in rural communities. Marshall County High School is about 30 minutes from Heath High School in Paducah, Kentucky. Oh, that side. Where a 1997 mass shooting killed 3, injured 5. Markle Carneal, then 14, opened fire there about 2 years before the fatal attack at Columbine High School in Colorado, ushering in an area when mass school shootings have become much more common. Meanwhile, in small North Texas town of Italy, a 15-year-old girl was recovering Tuesday after police said she was shot by a 16-year-old classmate in her high school cafeteria on Monday, sending dozens of students scrambling for safety. Police in Louisiana, meanwhile, are investigating shots fired at students gathered outside their charter school. It's horrifying that we can no longer call school shootings unimaginable, because the reality is they happen with alarming frequency, said former Representative Gabrielle Giffords, who survived being shot in the head in 2011. She called on Congress to strengthen gun laws. And there's a picture here. It says police escort a person, second from right, out of the Marshall County High School after a shooting there Wednesday in Benton, Kentucky. Governor Matt Bevin said 2 people were killed and numerous others were injured in the shooting. The person being escorted out, it is difficult to tell in the picture if that is a male or female, but rather tall and somewhat heavy-set.
Opinion: An Unworkable Strategy for 2020 by Eli Lake. If American politics were an Aaron Sorkin teleplay, one could imagine the Democrats nominating a unifier in 2020. Let America be America again. Republican voters might disagree with him on health care and immigration, but not on U.S. leadership in the world. That Democratic candidate, call him or her senator leadership, defeats President collusion. End scene. This is the latest thinking of Barack Obama's foreign policy communicator, Ben Rhodes. Speaking on the podcast of his former colleague, Tommy Vietor, Rhodes sketched out how he believed Trump's abdication of America's traditional role in the world created a post-partisan opening. I think there can be a sense of renewal of the things that we all care about. Like we value alliances, and we want to promote democracy and human rights, and we want to re-engage with the world, and we want to reinvigorate diplomacy, he said. You could say an incoming president really kind of rallied the country, the Congress, the government around just a complete reset of let's be who we are in the world again, let's be America again around the world in a way that does not have to be contemptuous of Trump. Rhodes is not alone here. William Crystal, the smartest never-Trump Republican, last week floated the prospect of a Mitt Romney-Joe Biden candidacy. On foreign policy, you could imagine a certain center-left, center-right agreement, Crystal said in a National Review podcast. Where's Jed Bartlett when you need him? Much can change in 2 years, but if trends continue, 2020 will not be a post-partisan moment. Let's start with the obvious. In 2016, Trump was blessed with a perfect general election opponent for a campaign that asked angry voters what they had to lose. His voters chose a boorish amateur over a hyper-qualified insider. When Hillary Clinton made the case that Trump was a sexual predator, Trump showed up at the second debate with the victims of Bill Clinton's sexual predations. Romney-Biden would be a similar gift. Trump could run against the Iraq War, Iran deal ticket. None of this is to say that there is not an opening for the president's opposition. It's true that Trump's vice signaling on Twitter has eroded American credibility abroad. His deference to dictators is embarrassing. He should also speak plainly about the menace in the Kremlin, Vladimir Putin. The problem is that the Democrats are in no position to make these agreements. Trump inherited a world unraveled, and his transactional statesmanship is a response to the failures of his predecessor. Obama often spoke of America's many moral obligations in foreign policy, such as the responsibility to protect victims of genocide, but the world did not comply. His words were hollow. See his lecture in 2016 at the United Nations General Assembly on the importance of accepting Syrian refugees. Moments when Obama bore moral witness were not calls to action so much as reminders of American weakness. So what went wrong? It goes back to the 2000s. Obama won the election in 2008 because he was the anti-Iraq war candidate. Obama was willing to meet with the enemies George W. Bush shunned. Never mind that Bush too conducted diplomacy with Iran. The point was that Democrats tried to prevent the wars Republicans desired. It made for good politics and dangerous foreign policy, like the Iran nuclear deal. By the time the Iranians were finally pressured to negotiate, they were on a rampage. But Obama and the Democrats went back to their old playbook and sold the deal at home as the alternative to war, a war the Iranians were already waging and would continue to wage. They ended up defending a bargain that temporarily capped Iran's nuclear program by lifting sanctions on a regime that was enabling Syria's dictator to slaughter and gas his own people. It fit a pattern. Look at Obama's failed agreement to remove chemical weapons from Syria. After trotting out his Secretary of State, John Kerry, in 2013 to compare Syria's dictator to Hitler, Obama lost his nerve and asked Congress to authorize the strikes he promised if the regime used chemical weapons. Russia seized the moment and cut a deal on chemical weapons that managed to let Damascus hold out a reserve of chemical weapons it would use a few years later. It should be said that the regime has apparently not used chemical weapons since Trump ordered a limited strike on a Syrian air base last April, though there were unconfirmed reports Monday that chemical weapons were used in an attack in Afrin. Let's hope this restraint continues. But the message of that airstrike is that a little force is preferable to hollow agreements with rogues. Trump's airstrikes on Syria was not the first step down the path to a new Iraq war. Rather, it was a small effort to restore an international norm against the use of chemical weapons, one that was in tatters by the time Obama left office. When Rhodes was asked about the airstrike last week, he dismissed it as a moment for pundits to say that Trump was presidential. Fair enough, much more needs to be done in Syria, and so far Trump has bungled U.S. policy there as well. See NATO ally Turkey's latest attack on Syrian Kurds. But for Rhodes' party to ask voters to let America be America again, it must acknowledge and correct Obama's own advocations of American leadership. Otherwise, President collusion will probably defeat Senator leadership in 2020 as the world continues to unravel. Eli Lake is a Bloomberg View columnist. He was the senior national security correspondent for the Daily Beast and covered national security and intelligence for the Washington Times, the New York Sun, and UPI.
Is that another one?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, good grief. This concludes the news, and we will now begin with 38, 48, 58. Okay, 20 minutes of newspaper featuring supermarkets. If that is not your apple, then you can be excused at this time. But I'm going to start with Aldi because I like it so much. Green beans, 99 cents for a 16-ounce package, and they taste so fresh. Pineapple, $1.29 each. Green grapes, $1.29 for a pound. Artisan lettuce, $1.19 each, and Florida strawberries, $1.49 per 1 pound package. One of my favorites, Haas avocados, 49 cents each, and the avocados in Aldi's are always the cheapest in town. Fresh farmed coho salmon, $9.99 per pound. $8.99 for beef pot roast kit, available on Wednesday, January 24th. Fresh pork sirloin roast, available Wednesday, the 24th, $1.99 per pound. The pot roast is 2.75 pounds and $8.99. Fresh family pack chicken breast, $1.69 per pound. Limit 2 while supplies last. A 5-pound average weight. So you'll be paying under $10 for that item. 99 cents for Coca-Cola, large, of course. Parkview bratwurst or Italian sausage from $2.69 to $1.99. Mama Cosey's original crust pizza, $1.99, 19-inch, or maybe that's circumference, whatever. Mama Cosey's breadsticks, cheesy or Italian, $3.69. Appetitos appetizers, cheese sticks, $1.69. Specially selected deluxe mixed nuts with sea salt or unsalted 30 ounces, $12.99. Casa Mamita diced tomatoes with green chilies, 45 cents, that's a bargain. Clancy's cheese melt, $3.99 for 32 ounces. $12.99 for Maine lobster tails, 2 4-ounce tails. Fresh Black Angus beef chuck roast, $3.89. $2.89 for fresh lean ground beef per pound, $2.89, 80%. Fresh boneless center cut pork chops, $3.49. Fresh Kirkwood thin sliced chicken breast, $3.49 per pound. Now for your kitchen, Ambiano convection countertop oven, $34.99. Crofton lightweight cast oven, a 6-quart Dutch oven or 5-quart brazier, $19.99. $19.99 Ambiano 5.8-quart programmable slow cooker and liners, $1.69. Ambiano deep fryer, 3 liter capacity, 12-cup basket capacity, $19.99. Red Hot special on pizza, Crofton pizza pan, $2.99. Here's a great looking furniture exclusive collection tufted storage chest, any room in the house, $79.99, 38 by 17.4 8.75 times 17. Other home goods, $14.99. Personal ultrasonic humidifier, $16.99. Huntington Home Signature Full Queen or King Sculpted Blanket, $39.99. Huntington Home Signature 3-piece Comforter, $39.99. And Huntington Home Signature Queen or King 400 thread count sheets set. May be a good deal if it's cotton. Back page. Party wings, $5.97 for 48 ounces, $4.99 for Mama Cosie's 16-inch 5-cheese deli pizza. All of the pizzas are on sale. And here's one for $5.49 each, the deli pizza. Meatballs, original or Italian, $3.99 for a 32-ounce frozen. Little salad bar, guacamole, $2.79, assorted varieties. Casa Mamita salsa, $1.19. Excellent purchase. And you know they have chips and nuts and trail mix and sea salt and hummus and those things. And the special this week on the wine is $6.99 for a bottle of white Sienna Glen Chardonnay and a $6.99 for a red Exquisite Collection Malbec from Argentina. And the beer month, why is this beer month? Anyway, it's $6.49 for Imperium Lager Belgium. I believe it says 11-ounce bottles, and that are there you have your wonderful bargains from Aldi's.
And Save-A-Lot. Fresh 73% lean ground beef is $1.99 a pound. It's sold in 5-pound packages for $9.95 each. Boneless, skinless chicken breasts sold frozen, $1.49 a pound. Pork spare ribs, $1.59 a pound. Fresh boneless beef top round roast, USDA choice, $3.79 a pound. Chicken leg quarters sold frozen in a 10-pound bag for $3.90 each. Ballpark Franks, a 15-ounce package, $1.49. Crystal Farms cheese chunks or shreds, 8 ounces, assorted varieties, 2 for $4. Cornell chili with beans, 38-ounce can, $3.49. DiGiorno Rising Crust Pizza, 27.5 to 31.5 ounce, assorted varieties, $4.99 each. Jose Olay appetizers, 16 to 20 ounces, assorted varieties, $3.99 each. Hillshire Farm Little Smokies, 12 to 14 ounce package, assorted varieties, $2.49 each. Frito-Lay multi-pack, 19.625 to 20 ounce, assorted varieties, $6.49 each. Chi-Chi's tortilla chips, the 11-ounce bag or mild salsa, 16-ounce jar, $1.99 each. Sweet Baby Ray's original barbecue sauce, 40-ounce bottle, $3.49 each. Pepsi products, 12 packs, 12-ounce cans, assorted varieties. Beverage item prices may not include applicable bottle deposits, fees, or taxes. 3 for $9. Fresh cabbage, 39 cents a pound. Yellow onions, 3-pound bag, 99 cents. Carrots, a 2-pound bag, 99 cents. Red or green seedless grapes imported, $1.99 a pound. Fresh navel oranges, 3-pound bag, $2.99. Russet potatoes, U.S. number 1, 8-pound bag is $2.99. Pork riblets, sold frozen in 10-pound box for $11.90 each. Dole Caesar salad kit, 10-ounce bag, 2 for $3. So Cheesy mac and cheese, 7.25 ounce box, 33 cents each. Switch and save up to 68%. Save a lot on everything you need for a great party for the big game. Save-A-Lot soda, 2 liters, assorted varieties, 79 cents each. Kurt's ketchup, 24-ounce jar, 89 cents each. J. Higgs mini twist or thin sticks, 12-ounce bags, 99 cents each. Senora Verde, diced tomatoes with green chilies, a 10-ounce can, 50 cents each. Farmington Butcher's Choice Brat or Italian sausage, 19-ounce, assorted varieties, $3.49 each. J. Higgs Caskey's Chunky Soup, 18.6 to 18.8 ounce cans, assorted varieties, $1.29 each. The Coors Finest Chiptastic Cookies, 11.75 to 13 ounce bags, assorted varieties, $1.49 each. Tiffin Grove Applesauce, 24 ounces, assorted varieties, $1.49 each. And Luster Soft and Strong Triple Roll Bath Tissue, 12 count, $3.99 each. And that's the sales at Save-A-Lot.
Well, here's a real thrill. Sprouts Farmers Market now open in Fayetteville. Prices and quality you can trust. It says these prices are valid January 24, 2/31 at our new Fayetteville location. The new Fayetteville location is at 2810 Freedom Parkway Drive, Cliffdale Road, and Skybo Road. Telephone number 910-748-5985. It is open daily from 7 to 10. Sign up today at sprouts.com/Fayetteville. And I guess they're going to give us their week of bargains, and here they are. 98 cents each. Blueberries, 6 ounces. On the vine cluster tomatoes, 98 cents per pound. Golden ring pineapples, 88 cents each. Cuties from California mandarins, $1.98. All natural choice, boneless roast beef, $2.88 per pound. No antibiotics added while under the care of our rancher. All natural, boneless, skinless chicken breast, $1.88 per pound. No enhancers or sodium-based solutions added. All natural, boneless pork loin roast, sold whole in the bag, cut and wrapped free, $1.49 a pound. Mild cheddar cheese, $2.99 a pound. Roasted cashew pieces, $5.99 1 pound. Bulk trail mix, 25% off. Walnuts, $3.99 per pound. Essential water or C2O coconut water, 99 cents each. Select varieties. Classic tortilla chips, 99 cents each, 5 ounce bags. The Greek Gods Greek yogurt, 2 for $4. Zevia soda mixers or sparkling water, 2 for $5. Horizon organic milk or cheese, $3.99 each. To continue, I think there's some continuing here. Okay. Market Corner Family Bread, 99 cents each. True Fruit Citrus Cups. Looks like a little fun frosty. 5 for $5. Jolly Yama Frozen Novelties. Cream Pops or Sorbet Pops, 2 for $3. Frozen meat alternatives, crispy chicken and crispy tenders. They appear to be breaded in case you don't eat breaded store-bought food. To continue, gold, russet or red potatoes, 2 pounds for $1. The cuties are $1.98 and the red mango 2 for $1. Purple, green, orange or white cauliflower, 98 cents. Oh, good bargain. Organic Hass avocados, 98 cents, and Pink Lady apples or navel oranges, 98 cents a pound. Boneless rump roast, $2.88. I see I have 2 pages here, but some of it's repeats. Noosa yogurt, 2 for $3. Sprouts fruit. This would be in a package, and I think it's frozen, is 2 for $5. Organic red or gold bunch beets, 2 for $3. Sprouts organic romaine hearts, 2 for $5. Yellow peaches or nectarines, $1.98. Jumbo cantaloupes, $1.98. Mighty kiwi fruit, $3.98 each bag. Strawberries, blackberries, or raspberries, 6 ounces for raspberries, 5 ounces for blackberries, 1 pound package for strawberries. It's all 2 for $5. Red, yellow, or orange bell peppers. Acorn butternut or spaghetti squash, 88 cents. Okay, they also have milk. It's called A2 milk. Select varieties of milk, 2 for $7. Cold brew coffee concentrate, $7.99. Never even heard of that. Various rice protein and CoQ10, Natural Path Silver Wings, Sprouts Stevia in a bottle. And that would be rather nice, just to put a drop in something. And that's a 25% off of the stevia in a bottle, which is nice with a little dropper. Annie's homegrown macaroni and cheese, 5 for $5. Yogi ginger, 2 for $5. That's tea. Organic breakfast essentials, 2 for $5. Heavenly Organics raw honey, buy one get one free. They have electrolyte or coconut water. Organic beans, 99 cents a can. Garbanzo and black, that's pretty good price. They carry Wolfgang Puck organic soup, a Wheat Montana flour cereal or pancake mix, also Sprouts organic coconut oil. What else do you want? You want Sprouts organic salad dressing, that would be 2 for $4. They have fish oil, flax oil, and let's see what's on the back page. Sprouts whole chicken, $2.99 a pound. All natural lamb sale, 20% off. Easy peel jumbo raw shrimp, $7.99 a pound. Pork chops, $3.49 per pound. Gourmet stuffed chicken breast, $3.99 per pound. Fresh tilapia fillets, $6.99 per pound. Ribeye steaks, $12.99 a pound. Pork shoulder roast, $1.99 a pound. North Atlantic jumbo sea scallops, $12.99 per pound. All natural choice 85 extra lean ground beef, $3.99 a pound. Sugar-free pork bacon, $4.99. And the fish market has frozen seafood. They have Dark Horse wine and Lamarco Prosecco or Joel Goat wine. Market Corner has a chicken bacon chopped salad, $5.99 a pound. Market Corner has spaghetti with meatballs at $3.49 a pound. Smoked Gouda at the Deli and Bakery, $5.99 per pound. Honey ham off the bone, $6.99 per pound. Fresh baked artisan bread, $3.49. Sprouts 2-bite treats. And here's 100 whole wheat bread from Arnold, $2.99, and fresh baked French bread for $1.29. All of these bargains, I guess, from the brand new opening today, perhaps, Sprouts Farmers Market off Skybo and Cliffdale at the new Freedom Parkway. That's all for Sprouts.
Carly C's fresh fryer leg quarters, 38 cents a pound, sold in a 10-pound bag for $3.80. Carly C's Angus beef family pack boneless sirloin steak, $3.98 a pound. Fresh family pack pork spare ribs, $1.88 a pound. Carly C's better value beef boneless beef filet mignon steak, $6.98 a pound. 5-ounce can of Starkist Chunk Light tuna and water, 75 cents. 138-ounce liquid breeze or Daybreak Tide Simply Clean and Fresh detergent, $6.25. 24-pack of 16.9-ounce bottles of Nestle Pure Life Water, $2.58. 12-pack of 12-ounce cans of selected Pepsi products, 3 for $10. 12 giant rolls of soft or strong Charmin Essentials bath tissue, $4.25. Minute Maid Bright and Early, selected varieties, 59-ounce container, 88 cents. Old-fashioned Pig Pickin' Cake, $11.99. Bakery Fresh, a half cake, $6.99. 8.7 to 12-ounce selected Kellogg's cereal, $1.88 each. IGA Pizza, 5.2-ounce selected varieties, 2 for $1. 16-ounce selected Morning Fresh Farms shredded cheese, 2 for $6. 16-ounce selected Yoplait Go-Gurt, $2.28. 18-count selected the Waffle Baker's Pancakes, 2 for $5. Gorton's Tilapia Fish Sticks, 8.2-ounce salmon 9-ounce tilapia, $5.98. Gorton's Fish Fillets, 11.4-ounce selected sticks, $3.66. Minute Maid Juice Bars, 12-count, 2 for $6. Blue Bunny Ice Cream, 46 to 56-ounce containers, selected low-fat or premium, 2 for $7. Lean Cuisine entrees or dinners, 6 to 10.88-ounce selected, 4 for $10. And Morning Fresh Farms Sour Cream, 8-ounce containers, 88 cents. And those are some of your deals at Carly C's.
And this
concludes our broadcast of the Fayetteville Observer. Your radio hosts have been
Marty Baldwin
and Robert Bean. We will now join the Raleigh Network for additional programming. Thank you for tuning us in. We've enjoyed being with you this morning. Have a wonderful day.
The latest technologies along with interviews and product demonstrations with people from the assistive technology